Today's video is about making ramps and controlling how Zool interacts with those ramps. So first we have to make the ramp sprites, and so I'm going to get started on the first couple of them, and then I'll pause the video and finish the rest of them, but you'll have to do that offline. Here I have, this is the way our room looks right now, and what we want to do is I'm going to put a ramp right here. Problem is we don't have the sprites for that yet. And so we have to make those sprites first. So let's do that over here. Underneath platforms, we're going to make a new folder. So we'll say, I guess they're calling them groups here. So we'll say add group, and we'll call this group ramps. Okay, and then under ramps, we're going to create some new sprites. So we're going to say create sprite. And we're looking at our first ramp sprite. Alright, so I've taken the time to go and pull the sprites out of the old files, and I'm going to use that here. So I'm going to say import, go to ramps, and then I'll grab that first one. Let's do, we'll start with up. That's this one here, up 1, or U1. And there's our ramp. You can see we have kind of the start of it. For the collision mask, we want to make sure that the mode is full image and the type is precise, and I think that's the settings we want. So we'll go with that, and we want to call this one SPR underscore ramp underscore U1. So it matches up with the file name where we got the sprite from. And we'll save that. I guess it's saving just by closing. Yep. And then what we can do is just duplicate this so we don't have to keep setting up the collision mask settings. So I'm just going to say duplicate. And we'll call this one U2. And then we'll import the correct sprite. It's here. It's a little bit taller. And you can see that the collision mask settings were retained, so that's good. And I'll let you do the rest of those. You also want to do the ones for down. So I think there's 8 for up, and then 8 for down, and then I'll show you what it looks like once I'm all done. Alright, I'm back. A little bit tedious, but I got all the sprites made. You can see them here on the right. And now we need to make the objects. Alright, so we go to objects, and again, this is under platforms, and we'll create a new group, and we'll also call these ramps. Group names can be similar, but certainly object and sprite names need to be different. We'll create a new object. We'll call this object obj underscore. I think we'll go with ramp underscore UL. We'll choose our first ramp sprite. It's under platforms. Not ledge, platforms. Ramps U1. And we want to double check a few things here on the ramps, and that's some of these settings to see whether or not we mark them solid. And in this case, we're going to uncheck visible, we're going to leave solid unchecked as well. And we're going to make two parent objects, and we haven't made the parent yet, so maybe we should do that now. Here's our first object, right? We're making it right now, but we're going to create two other objects to serve as parents. One is object obj underscore ramp up. Since it's a parent object, we're not going to actually put one of these in the game. It just serves as a parent, so it doesn't actually need a sprite. And just double check how that looks. We'll leave that checked as visible. And then the other one we want to create, we'll duplicate that. And we'll call this one down. And this will be the parent of all the down ramps. Now close those up. So back to object ramp U1. And now that we have the parent, we can set the parent to the up ramp. It's here. And the other ones are going to make similarly. So go through all the up ones and then go through all the down ones. For the up ones, make the parent the ramp up, and for the down ones, make the parent ramp down. And just like before, we can do duplication, so we can just say duplicate. And then we'll call this U2. Switch this to U2. And see how the parent's already set. So if you duplicate it, it speeds it up a little bit. Alright, so I have all the ramp object created now, and I have the inheritance settings set up correctly. All the up ramps are children of object ramp up, and all the down ramps are all children of object ramp down. So now it comes time to place them in the room. And so we're going to do that now. Just opening up the room. We have to make sure we're on the right layer. We want to be on the instances layer, not the tiles layer. I don't think it'll let you put them there anyway, on the tiles layers. Okay, so placing this in the room, or these in the room, you can just grab the ramps. We'll do them in order. First one should go right there. So in this square, I think I'm off by one. So that's why I'm starting, or actually no. Let's put it right here. That's where we'll start it. And then here. And just slowly build the ramp up. Oops. Build the ramp up. You know, one object at a time, getting taller and taller. So we're just going to go up and down. Here's the last one. And then we start coming down. And it'll act as a sort of bridge between the two sections of this level, or this room. Finally finish it off here. Okay, so next we want this to be on the foreground tile layer. That's tiles 2 here. And what I want to do is just grab all of those for our ramp. And we'll place it. Just want to match it up with that. So right there. And now we have our tile layer. And then we can fill in with just blocks of this stuff. Just grabbing that. not great, but what we're trying to avoid is obvious patterns here. So I'm going to go with that. Maybe, if you're really particular, you can go in and grab a column of these and get rid of that transition, although it's the same right next door, so I'm going to grab that. Kind of cover that up. I think that's better. And now we have our first ramp. Now the surprising part is that was the easy part. That was just doing the sprites and the objects. The next part is the coding part. That's a little bit more challenging. So let's see what happens when we try it with the game, just to see how Zool is going to interact with the ramp. Alright, here's Zool running. Let's see how he interacts with the ramp now. I guess we can climb up. Oh, that's cool. Jump off. Here's our ramp. Whoa. Notice how we fell to our doom. So let's try to figure out what's going on there. So the mistake I made is I forgot to set the parent here to object ramp. Here's object ramp up. That's the parent of all the smaller object ramp, but we forgot to make object ramp up a child of object ramp. And so let's find that. That's under platforms. Here's object ramp. You'll need to do the same thing with object ramp down. Here's object ramp down. We'll set the parent to object ramp, and we'll try it again. All right, so here's Zool. Try one more time. We jump. Okay, here's our ramp. Looks like we can stand on it. We can't really walk on it because it's so rough. See how we kind of clatter as we slide along? Whoa. So it still looks really funny. We still have a lot of work to do. But kind of working. We're not falling. And we are kind of stopping. So, yeah, so we have more work to do. At least it's kind of working. So right now the game's just using the plain vanilla collision event with object solid. But for ramps, that's not going to cut it. So we're going to have to add our own collision event and I think override the one on the parent. So if we go to object Zool land, let's go back to our objects. Here's the Zools. Object Zool land. We see we have a collision event with object solid, but no collision event with object ramp. So let's create one. We're going to add that collision event. Collision with ramp. All right, so here we're going to create we're going to use a little trick to kind of fool it. We're going to change the y variable to negative speed relative. And the faster that Zool is moving, the faster he'll move up, that means he'll be further up the ramp. And so if we keep this rate of change constant, it should look pretty good once we get it all set up. Next thing we want to do is a move to contact action. What have we been using for that? I think we've been using some GML code. Let me find that. Okay, so I've added an execute code block right after the assignment, and we want to do move contact all. Direction is 270 because we're going down, and for the maximum we want to say -1, and then that will move Zool down so he's touching the ramp. And then I think that's all we need there. And then in the end step event here, All right, so here in the end step event, we're going to actually we're going to replace this code in here. Right now we're changing object Zool air, and actually we have to do a little bit more than that just to be careful. So we're going to add some stuff right there. First thing we need to do is we need to check to see if there's a platform beneath us. I guess we're doing that already. Let me pause here. All right, so we've just figured out that there's not a platform beneath us. So next question we need to ask is, well, this seems kind of odd, but we say place meeting, and again we're checking beneath our feet, and so we're going to say x, but this time instead of y plus 1 we're going to say y plus speed. And this checks to see if there's a platform a little bit further below Zool's feet. And it all depends on the distance Zool is moving. So we're going to figure that out. So we ask that question. And then what are we looking for? Still looking for object platform. Kind of looking ahead, I guess. And then if that's the case, then we want to move to contact again. So I think we're doing move contact all, directions 270, and the object we're moving against is, I guess, all objects. I guess we said all. So we said direction. I think we say -1 here. Yeah. That'll move it 1 pixel at a time. And then otherwise, say there isn't a platform beneath us, a little bit ahead of where we are right now, then that's when we actually change into object Zool air. So we'll just move that up there. So if you did it right, it should look something like that. So we just replace the insides of that, I guess. If that makes sense. I think that looks right. It's complaining here because I'm missing a parenthesis here, and I think that's right. Next we go to object Zool air. We have to, since we've added these ramps, we have to say what happens when object Zool air interacts with a ramp. So we're going to go here, and then we're going to add a specific collision event between object Zool air and the ramp, and that will override the parents one. And what do we want to do in that case? We also want to set the variable y to negative speed relative, just like we did before. And then once we've done that, then we want to do a move to contact, so we'll use that same code block again. Move contact all. Our direction is 270, and our maximum distance is -1. After we do that, we know we're on the ground, and therefore we need to change to instance change. Yeah. Object Zool land, because we're on the ground now. Let me say true for performing events. Okay. And if we've done it right, hopefully he'll behave a lot better when he's going up and down the ramps. Let's try it. All right, here's the game being played, and now when I go up and down the ramp, you can see that it's nice and smooth, and it keeps in contact with the ramp. If we're in the air and we land on the ramp, if I say jump, try that again, jump. That was a little bit weird. Oh, not good. Okay, so we have more work to do there, looks like. Yeah, so it looks like here I've used the wrong function. I said move outside. Should be move contact. All. Let's see if that corrects the problem. All right, so with the change code now, if I jump onto the ramp, yeah, it doesn't fall through. So I can jump onto it. Yeah, looks like it's working. Yay! Okay, so all that work, but now we have ramps working, and it looks pretty smooth when he's going up and down ramps.